cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife, so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans, or round cans, exactly the same way. Now, this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven. Get your hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness, every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick. Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it. Makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you started to eat them. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers when you want to chop up a little nuts for cake. Cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup. Making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water, why, around canning season when you're preserving...
Good evening, everyone. How we doing tonight? What's new? What's happening? Make sure we got things muted here. Yeah, that should be better. There we go. All right. So tonight, doing cottage pie. You may also know it as shepherd's pie. Cottage pie being little less defined. Welcome in, Mama Bear. Hello, Charland. Hello, Big Davy. Welcome in, everyone. So I'm going to be So unlike shepherd's pie, which is traditionally a lamb, shepherd's, lamb, goat, something either lamb or goat going on there. I'm going to be doing the beans that we have left over. I'm going to take those and turn those, which are on the stove actually, gonna turn those into a stew. We're gonna add a bunch of other stew veggies, and then top that with mashed potatoes. Use up all those leftover goodies. I will be Car Guy. Welcome in. I will be streaming here for the first 8 days. At least that's the plan. Let's see. Today is the 3rd. Tuesday I may be late, but otherwise going as planned every night here for now through the 8th. The 6th will be the ingredient challenge. We still have the vote going on in Discord. Feel free to add to that vote. Right now, KFC chicken's winning over ramen, but I'll have to either use ramen and broth or KFC chicken for both dinner and dessert on the 6th. Gonna be doing cottage pie tonight, as I'm calling it. A lot of times you'll find it with beef too, but welcome in, Charlotte. It's a more generic term. Like, I've made a duck-based one. I made a duck confit last year, and then used that for a cottage pie. So, that is the plans for this evening. We're going to start with getting our potatoes ready. Going to use small little creamers. Yellow cream potatoes. Just going to have these guys just to slightly speed up their... that guy's pretty big. We'll give him a quarter. That's one ugly potato there. Give that a clean cut. That looks okay. If you go into Discord, which, give me one moment here. And pull up OBS so I'm real time here. Why aren't you picking up Discord? Let's try restarting Discord here. Okay. There we go. If you're in the Discord here, which anyone new I'm going to have to give permissions in to see, but don't see any white names there in a quick glance. We have the walk-in, which is our general chat. We have Formula One chat, since I'm a big junkie on that. We have streamer-related chat here. And we have in that next section down here, we have the ingredient voting. The current vote is right here. If you want to vote for either one of them, you just click the reaction for either one of them. And it allows you to... You can vote for all of them if you want, but you can only vote for anything once. So that's how it all works. And then we have our past results back here. And in here we have suggestions, where you guys are welcome to make suggestions. Looks like I'm going to be using taro root here soon, which I'm going to have to research where I can find taro. I've seen it in supermarkets, I just don't know if it's available right now, right here. But that shouldn't be... it's starchy root. But I have a variety of other things here that people have voted up, and you can feel free to add your own votes to any of these, or add your own suggestions using the generic guidelines up above. And then beyond that, we have our traditional community stuff. We have food photos where we have several people, not just myself, adding in stuff for people to see. But all the stuff that I post, or all the stuff that I make ends up here. Recipes to try. This is mostly recipes that I've tried on stream and felt like sharing. But feel free to add your own recipes in here if you got suggestions for me to check out. I made this other community type me eating crickets the other night for the first time. Obligatory pets section. And Hey Taco, get everyone chatting and active in here. And I have this somewhat automated, and I am somewhat adding some into this, but these are some of the people that I watch. And lastly, any suggestions you have for the Discord, for the Twitch setup, for me, feel free to add them in there, or just send me a message, but either or. So, yeah, right now it's looking like it's going to be crispy chicken, but we'll see how this works out. Alright, back to potatoes. If chicken wins, I'm probably going to have to try the fried chicken rice thing that's been sort of viral, where you cook rice with the chicken in it. But that's obviously not going to be all I'm doing. Give me 1 second here. That's too far down. Where was that? I guess those aren't listed there. Yeah. Were you the one that I missed the other night, car guy? I thought that was Suki. He says without knowing if anyone's lurking. I missed someone for bad advice and I made it up last stream. Hey, my boy Robin. How are you this evening? How is life treating you? And we'll use this guy over here. I am doing quite well tonight. We got the new setup all working here. I didn't really say that, but I can now look at chat right here. So that's nice. Even though I'm using like ancient monitor to do it, but hey, I can do this now instead of over here. Be right back. I gotta throw this out. And that is possible because I bought a new wire rack for the kitchen. So I used to have a little, like, it's below counter height table rack, set of shelves, mostly for like my shoes and in pocket stuff and random things just inside the door. And that's now what my old monitor is sitting on. And I've now got a proper wire rack in its place. So, entrance to the house is a little bit more tighter, but there's a lot more storage. So we'll set those up on a flame. Get those up to heat. I was allowing this to come up to temp a little bit here, just room temp. I'm going to turn the flame on that guy now on low. I didn't want to go from... I was actually storing it straight in the cast iron, which there's not a lot of acid here for me to worry about. If it was a dish, like a tomato dish or something like that, you wouldn't want to do that. But since it was a relatively low acid thing, I wasn't too worried about it. But going cast iron cold to fire, I didn't love that idea, so I allowed it to come up to temp a little bit before that. Yep, Charlene, I'm not a big fan of taking skins off my potatoes. I leave them on a lot of the time. I'll either chop them up fine, or in this case, we're going to be mashing them up pretty good. So while we're waiting on those to cook, tonight's going to be a pretty quick stream. I thought last night was going to be a pretty quick stream and ended up about 2 hours. I doubt we're going to be an hour and a half in today. Just to give you guys a idea where we're going here. We've got a couple quicker meals here planned because I'm streaming every day right now. Also making a little bit less, that sort of stuff. Still working on cornbread. Well, the mashed potatoes, we're going to mash them up real good. Make a nice smooth mash. And then I'm going to mix them with some egg yolks and put them over the top of that stew and bake them and get some nice color on top of them too. So it's going to be almost like twice mashed potatoes. I'm going to dice up this green onion here. I'm going to add some green onion, celery, a lot of green stuff here to sort of add veggie note to this. We're going to add some more. I'm going to add some red onion to that, so even more onion in there. And we're going to garnish it with some of this green onion, so even more onion. But I like onion, so sorry, onion haters. I'm not a huge green bell pepper fan. It's got a distinctive flavor that I don't love raw. I'll do red or orange ones raw, or yellow ones. But at the same time, it does have a flavor that works for some cooked foods, and especially if you like Creole or Cajun or any of that good stuff. Do have a loyalty chest map going in Stream Raiders, so this is a good one to get involved in if you guys are doing Stream Raiders at all. It's also a hard map, so hopefully we'll do it. It's a little rough sometimes doing a hard map the first thing in the stream. Not everyone's here and that sort of thing. It depends, Charlene. I'm not a giant fan of it, but there is some science to it, and there's some science that's not really, that people believe that isn't really all that sound. Like the whole increasing water temp. Yeah, sodium increases the sodium increases the temperature of the water ever so slightly. It's going to be so small that it's not going to do anything worthwhile, noticeable to you in your cooking. Miss Lisa Face. Thank you for that raid. How is everyone tonight? Hello. I'm Jason. I'm streaming the first 8 days here of 2021, but normally I stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays around this time. Cook here on stream for myself, just making dinner regularly. Do little stream raiders, and Wednesdays we do ingredient challenges. We hold votes in Discord. But right now I'm working on a quick dinner. Going to be doing cottage pie, which is sort of like a potato topped. A lot of people use beef, but it's sort of a generic, any type of stew underneath potato. Not quite shepherd's pie, but close to a shepherd's pie. It's probably more well known, at least in the States, as shepherd's pie. But not using lamb or goat. We're using actually the leftover beans from first of the year. So we got heirloom European soldier beans that I cooked with the pork hock, carrots, or not carrots, but corn, onion, bunch of other goodies in here. There's some herbs in there. There's some cilantro. We're going to add some other herbs tonight. We got some parsley. We got some green onion. Working on the potatoes for the mash. Why don't we do our battle? See how we do here. This first one off of the night could be rough. Ah, we got this. Grats Lethal Zero on the gold. Me with the kills, I guess. Ooh, more gold for me. And Templar Scrolls. On to the next map. Let's see. We got a bunch more maps this way. Or we can go this way. We want to hit the treasure chest? Is that what you guys want to do? This is looking quicker, but it's not looking as profitable. Yeah, why don't we take the top route here? Ratatouille. Nice, Charlene. I think it's rogue time. And we'll go back to dicing up a little green onion here. Anyone unfamiliar with Stream Raiders, there should be a link in chat there. You can add a new player to the field once every 5 minutes. And the more you play, the more you level up your characters, the more other characters you can get. All that good stuff. You can get really involved in it. There's multiple ways of playing the game nowadays. And so you'll see streamers doing it different ways. popped right out at me. Entropy gonna erase me for those kills with his rogue. His epic rogue. Actually, maybe we should do this. It's not going to fit into that nicely. Okay. We can just throw you over here, though, for now. I just need to know which screen I'm on. It's nice. It's nice having all this screen size now. Been using 2 monitors for so long that making this setup here in the kitchen off of 1 monitor was just so... I've been... Like, even back when I was in, like, high school, I was using 2 monitors because I was doing web coding and stuff like that. Website coding. Basic website coding compared to what they do these days. Hey, Shar. Oh. Hi again, Shar. Reading chat without... How we doing tonight, Entropy? Throw you in the fridge. Throw you in the fridge. That's all looking nice and clean. rather quiet, isn't it? Speedini. Not sure on that one. Whoa! Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for that raid, Umbra. How is everyone doing tonight? Welcome. I'm Jason. Been raided by Umbra here recently, but welcome back in. I cook here normally 3 nights a week. Normally here, well, thank you for that follow, Pyro Puppy. Normally cook here 3 nights a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. But we're starting off the first 8 days straight. Tonight I am making a stew using the beans left over from our potatoes are up to a nice boil, so we'll let those hang out for a little bit. Using up beans that I started here on the first. We have heirloom European soldier beans here. A white creamy bean with a pork hock in there. You still got the bone from the hock in there. Some corn, some other veggies. We're gonna doctor that up. I've got some green onion or green pepper. I got some celery, green onion, parsley, garlic, red onion, celery. Turn that into a full proper stew here. Lots of veggies. And we'll use the mashed potatoes and top it up, sort of like you may know as shepherd's pie, but shepherd's pie is more like goat or lamb. So we're calling it cottage pie. But, thank you for that raid. What were we doing tonight? What were we streaming? Just doing stream raiders? Were we cooking something? Were we... Do have stream raiders going on here. Getting messy towards the end here. Chicken noodle soup. It's been a while since I made a decent chicken noodle soup. Gonna be doing soup here in 2 days on Tuesday night. Might be starting a little bit late on Tuesday night, but I got a appointment earlier in the day. May make me late. But yeah, no entropy. There's no bacon in tonight's plans. There is most certainly a lot of hawk meat still here. It's going to continue to get softer and break down. Thank you for that follow from RXTD. Tried. I have no idea how to pronounce that one. Well, hey, you just have to use your channel points. Which, by the way, I think I made the decision that every time someone claims that, I'm going to increase the value of it. Oh. How dare you mislead? That's a good metric to know, because I have no clue what channel points people have. I do have an idea of how much time people have spent lovely watching my show. Cornhusker, welcome in. You'll fit right in. We all love bacon here. Yeah, bacon emote's probably pretty high up there on things for me to add, but got a couple of other things that I want first. I do love me some chicken dumplings too. I've done those before. That's in my slideshow up there, I think. I haven't updated my slideshow in probably 5 months. Oh hey, I forgot I was slicing these. In 3. Fun. This guy's pretty potent. He's getting to my eyes a little bit. That's sort of rare these days. Used to be really rare when I wore contacts. Contacts are, at least for me, were a definite way to cut down on onion crying. Of course, they also cut down on the amount of air that you're getting to your eyes. Okay, we got all those goodies. Need a little carrot. See how we doing on our carrot supply here. They're looking a little old and could use some love. I am going to add some chicken stock also to tonight's stew. And so I'm going to actually add that in there now. Get the water working, a little magic there on those carrots. But if you guys didn't watch here on the first, I made these, oops, wrong one. These beans here on the first. We're going to use those, and we're going to add 24 ounces of chicken stock that I previously made on stream back in October. Still slightly frozen because it was frozen this morning. So it's sort of slushy like right now. Stock slushy. Remnanty. I don't know. Marinate. I should have been able to guess that. If anyone's curious on any of the definitions on any of the words in the scramble, they are all international words. They're not all English. But they are all at least food or food industry related. So there is that. And there's well over 1,000 words in the dictionary that I have there. So yeah, these guys are looking a little rough. Marinade might be in there too. I did a number of words that were like that, and might even find a few that are, especially earlier on in the alphabet, that are both in their plural and non-plural. After a little while, I got tired of that and just putting them all in one or the other. Still nice and orange carrots there, though. Got to represent House of Orange. Which is why most carrots are orange, if you guys weren't familiar. You mean words on stream, or is there some other Scrabble game? Okay, we got all that loveliness. We got our potatoes just coasting here. Why don't we use this guy? We'll cheat and use the lid as our saute pan. Okay. Little sunflower oil in the pan. If you're wondering why that looks dirty, it is somewhat dirty. It was dirty from being used on this. Cheers. Wait until we get this up to a temp, things start sizzling on here. This is just under a simmer here. The beans with the chicken stock addition. Add in our garlic. Which instantly smells amazing. And I'm actually going to go carrot before I go onion, because carrot's slightly larger cut. But I'm going to go right in with the onion as well. And then we're going to give it a bit. Make sure none of that garlic is just sitting there in that same spot trying to burn. Give this all a little bit of a stir up. This is on the edge of overloading this pan. Well, this is overloading this pan. But definitely don't want to add more into this after this. I'm okay with picking things off of this because I just cleaned this. Salmon and curd. It's been a while since I've done anything in curd. I keep toying with trying to do puff pastry on stream. No one else seems to want to bother. I know it's a lot of work as far as time and organization, which really makes it tough for streaming. And that's why you don't see a ton of bakers. You don't see a ton of, unless they're in, I mean, I'd sort of like to see an actual bakery running on here, other than just Donut King. But for someone that's just doing like 1 or 2 bread things, just stuff like that, to do the whole proofing and all that, that's a bit much. We're going to hit this with some salt. And some pepper. It's not impossible, but it's sort of one of those, like, when I do the stock streams, there's just long periods where it's just bubbling away. It's not hugely exciting. Gonna do Royal Cheapy tonight. Well, it's not $2 Chuck, but we're gonna do Coastal Estates Cab Sav. This is a $7 to $8 wine. Doesn't have the greatest reviews, so we'll see how it turns out. I'm just gonna pull off this cheap plastic heat wrap top. It's not like it's a nice foil one, but you don't really expect one at this price point either. I think I'm going to change the prize on the scramble to represent how many people join the game. Like, leave it at 10 if there's only 1 or 2 of you playing, but the more that join, the greater it is. Got a battle ready. Give this pan a little bit of a quick stir here first. Make sure it can handle me ignoring it here for a couple minutes. And we'll do our battle. See our how our rogue battle goes here. Entropy is going to get me on that last one. Oh! Even so far. Beach at the last second. Victory! Congrats, said Mama Bear on the scroll. Another 26 minutes on that guy. Go ahead and add your characters to the field. We'll run that battle here in another 30 minutes from now. I'm going to take the bone out of this now. Add that to the compost. Go back to... and it didn't change on me. I definitely clicked the button on Stream Deck. Damn it. I'm sorry, guys. But, so now we got our beans and corn, and there's a little onion and garlic in here and some other goodness. Continue cooking that down. Continue cooking all that hawk meat and just make it all beautifully fall apart. Already was pretty good the other night, but we can improve. So I'm gonna add the celery and the green pepper here. Hit that with a pinch more salt. So, Cab, let's see how this looks. Rather pale there on the cork. That doesn't tell you a ton. Pretty see-through as far as a red is concerned. Not a lot of... Not very opaque there. Oops. That's where we wanted to go. See, it's pretty clear. It's pretty hard to see on the camera. It doesn't show through nearly as well, but I can see through that wine. There is definitely a little bit of harshness on the nose. Harshness. Got a cheap particle cork, but it is branded. So not the cheapest you can go here. That is sweet. It is fruity. It's probably really easy to get into. It's probably going to be too sweet by the end. It's probably going to be a bit of a gut bomb. But, and yeah, it's got a little, they're playing some funkiness here. This is most definitely a blend, even though it's a coastal branding. I sort of doubt this is all coastal or all one location wine. Stock. I probably said stock during the time. Stock being, in my mind, being along the lines of broth in most Americans' minds these days, or brodo. It's a densely flavored liquid using primarily bones, but you'll find meat in stocks too. I sort of think of broth as being, besides being, I think, a little bit more Italian in its base as a word, as being more like you have a big vineyard, you have a big home, old farmsteads. You just sort of had a pot going on in the background with everything that was sort of on the edge. You know, we don't want to really use that, but we don't want to throw it out. Throw it in the stock. Or throw it into the broth. And that included meat that was going bad and stuff like that. And so that's why broth is sort of like a meat-based liquid in my mind. There's a lot of sugar there, but second or third sip in there, and it sort of quickly disappears. But yeah, it's probably going to be a jammy gut bomb here by the end. But not bad for, I mean, $7. It's not a horrible wine. It's not got some huge amount of ugly wood to it or something like you find in a lot of them. Actually, it's rather light on wood for most cabs. Okay, we got all this nicely sweated down. Could maybe leave the celery in there a little bit longer, but I'm not going to sweat that. We'll take this, add this in with the other goodies here. So now we got a proper stew going here. We got our corn, our beans, our ham hock, all these other veggies. We'll let them hang out for a little while and get to know each other. Add a little water in here. Get all that good flavor off of the bottom of our top pan. I'm looking at those potatoes back there, and even though they came to a boil, the color on them they're not looking completely cooked through to me. They're looking like they're... So I'm going to give those a little bit more heat. I don't know, maybe we'll hit this with some cornstarch slurry, or at least the part we're going to use for the pie tonight. Or, yeah, the pie. Because it is got a decent amount of liquid going on there in order to get the potatoes on there nicely on top. So what's new in everyone's lives? Anything new and exciting going on out there? I'm going to give a quick cleanup here in a couple of dishes while our potatoes come back up to temp. Seed tray yesterday. What type of a seed tray? Are you gonna use it for sprouting, or? Maybe you're growing some other type of seed? Nice. Yeah, I haven't quite gotten to my seedlings yet this year. I started around this time last year. I decided it was a little early, so I'm giving it another week or two this year. I did save all of my toilet rolls and all of my paper towel rolls this last year. And so I'm going to cut all those, or at least these guys, I'm going to cut in half. Or maybe into 3, I don't know the right sizing. And just fill those with dirt and use those as my seeding tubes. I had an issue with... I have a whole bunch of smaller pots that I tried using last year. And it was tough with the amount of light and everything there. Welcome in, Goon Squad. Glad to have you. Welcome in. Thank you. We're working on a stew here. We have some beans that I cooked up in the beginning of the year, the first, so a couple days ago. And I've just added in all these lovely veggies, and we're allowing that to cook a little bit. We're bringing the potatoes up to a heat here, so I can make some mashed potatoes for over the top. And we're drinking a little cheapo Cab Sav. Well, we got I don't know if it's a $7 or $8 wine. I'm going to give this a better rating on, not affiliated at all, but I use Vivino when it comes to wine a little bit. It's got a nice, just scan the label and look it up system. Let's see here. Recent scans, there we go. And this one's only got a 3.7 out of 5. They have it as almost $9 average. But I'm going to give that a solid 4. Even though I think it's a jammy sugar bomb. Especially for a Cab Sav. So the beans in here, you'll notice, are a creamy... They got some darkness from the stock and all the flavor they've been cooked in, but they have brown spotting on them, which I think is supposed to be reminiscent. They're either been served to a European Navy, European Army in the past, or they represent a former European Army uniform with the brown spotting. Yeah, Charlotte, I do a fair number of $10-esque wines here, and I'm not going to give you a sommelier breakdown on it, but I do try and give some basic idea on what you guys can expect. There's just so many to choose from, and I don't even get out of the supermarket when I'm surrounded by vineyards. Yeah, it did, Charlin. Lime basil. Nice. Basil's another one. Basil and dill. They just boom. Um, Almost got a grown with plans to use them in 2 weeks. I'm gonna look that one up. Plugs, stoppers, appetizers served with drinks are botanas. Wasabi cilantro. That might be rough. Well, it may be a cilantro that's like a wasabi. I sort of doubt it's a wasabi that's like cilantro. We got the fan going there, okay. I'm just sweating. Because I believe it's a rhizome when it comes to wasabi. There's a great sprouts. I think it's just radish, or maybe well, it's some type of radish most likely that they're growing and they're selling as wasabi sprouts. Those are straight up like wasabi, but they're sprouts. Well, most people in the U.S. don't even know what real wasabi tastes like. They usually have some idea of a combination, because most commercial wasabi, the stuff you find in the store, is some combination of horseradish and mustard. It's not actual wasabi. There is a wasabi grower now in California, but it's people are either importing it or it's a very small niche thing that they actually have wasabi. so let's chop up some herbs here. We got these green onions. I don't know, maybe we'll put the herbs in with the potatoes tonight. Give them a little green color. Make sure I know where that rubber band is. Nice. Nope, it's only the first response. I figured when someone answered it, it would turn into whoever can type fast enough to get it. Still sort of that, but... No, I didn't have that on the cutting board, so there's our green onion chopped up. It's open to everyone to play. The sprinkles are... It's more for fun, and I like the idea that words can spawn a little conversation, that sort of stuff. A little bit of information doesn't hurt. Points are rather on the minor end compared to the real ways that you earn points, earn sprinkles, which are all listed down in the About section. Let's make sure we don't got any stickage going on. Nope, we're seem to be doing okay here. I think I'm going to reserve some of that stew and use that for nights off with some rice. Oh, I'm a Midwest boy. I've been living all over the place, though. I've lived in the Midwest. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Phoenix. I lived in LA. And I've lived up here in Northern California now for 11, 12 years? 13 years? Ugh. I'll throw this out. I'll be right back. there's some Michigan in there. It's sort of odd because I still think pop, but I typically say soda. And I never say Coke. We got some parsley to go in with the herbs tonight too. And I don't know, I'll leave it up to you guys. There's a number of people in chat tonight. I'm going to be doing garlic bread tomorrow. I can either start it early and start it on stream so you guys can see it from the very beginning, or I can start it a little bit later tonight and have it have the closer to 18 instead of 24-hour proofing. If I do that, it'll be at the very end of the stream. Oh, Michigan, it's definitely pop. New York, it's definitely soda. California, it's a little bit more of a toss-up out here, from at least my experience. Now see, Charlene, if you had spelled it right, you maybe could have beat him on the second time. I am horrible. I'm actually a lot better at spelling on this slow little Logitech keyboard than I am on my mechanical keyboard in the back. But yeah, I think I'm going to separate some of this off. I don't know how much though. And what I'm going to put it in to allow it to cool down. Let's use you. Bottle. Let's use you. So we're going to start by separating some of this off so that I can use it for other projects, because this is quite a bit of stew for my plans tonight. There we go, all those beans and pork and veggie goodness. Add a little liquid in there. Alright, so the rest of that we'll use for dinner tonight. Hey Metro, how you doing tonight? Entropy was mentioning Paladins earlier. You may know Metro from Paladins as well. Nice. So I'm going to add a little cornstarch into this. Thicken that up, do a little cornstarch slurry like I did with the pasta sauce last night. And then we'll get into doing mashed potatoes. Add a little cold water to that. Well, cottage pie, are you familiar with shepherd's pie? It's essentially a stew that's covered with mashed potatoes to make it into a pie. Shepherd's pie would be, if I'm using it traditionally, would be lamb or goat based as far as the stew. This is a little more generic in its term. Many people will probably think beef, but it's a little bit like farmhouse style. It's what's available and what's around. But what we got going here is beans with the hock that I started on the first. It's got a bunch of other flavors in there from earlier. And then I sauteed up a whole bunch of veggies and added those in there today. And I'm about to add this starch slurry in there to thicken up that liquid a little bit. And pull out the baby whisk tonight. I'm going to stop there. Maybe a bit heavy on the starch. See where that is after it boils. There you go, Charlin. I'm going to add the rest of that in there. That is looking nice and thick now, though, but I think we can use up the rest of this. More of a, I made it, why not use it? Then it really needs it. That's looking nice, thick stew style. We'll cut the heat on that and allow that to cool down a little bit. Turn our oven on here. Get that warming up. And get going with stuff for our potatoes. Which should be nice and cooked through now. Gonna add some butter back here to melt real quick. Just a little bit of butter here. For anyone wondering about the... Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. That's just about perfect. You want it to be a stew. You still want it to be liquidy, but you want it thick enough that, you know, you can almost hold the spoon. Nice. And anyone else joining in? We're drinking a sugar bomb. It's a, yeah, it's a cab sav, but I'm not getting the wood and I'm not getting the spice. I'm not getting... I sort of think a cab sav is like the middle ground. You typically get a decent amount of wood in there. There's like none. But for $7 wine, I'm not complaining either. Well, thank you for that file, E-Lifter. Or Elfter Live. Not sure how to go with that one. And welcome in. Hi, I'm Jason. Cook here 3 nights a week normally. Doing 8 nights this week to get the year started off well. Or add our salt and pepper and MSG in here with the butter, because that'll help distribute it with the potatoes. So that was the salt. Here's the MSG. There's our black pepper. Gonna turn the heat off on that. Allow it to just coast to continue melting. Aww. Just throw them in the microwave. I don't use a microwave for much, but if you don't know how to cook, it's certainly a good way to get hooked. Do all sorts of weird things with microwaves these days after they've developed 1,000,001 plastic containers. Now they got plastic containers with like pretend metal that you can use in them. That, a slow cooker, a microwave, a slow cooker. Don't even, well, price-wise, you might as well get one of these, like, pressure cookers or one-pot deals. But really, just a slow cooker, cheap slow cooker, and you can make so many great things around home. Just set it and forget it. Or, you know, Ron Popeil style, or, microwave, you know, a couple minutes with an egg. Or some ramen. Yep, crock pots are amazing. I use my stove instead of them a lot of time, but I used to have a big monster 7-quart stock pot or crock pot, slow cooker. That, you know, that was my set it and forget it. I'm going to work and just letting it run. And yeah, I don't have that anymore, but I do have all this loveliness. So I'm going to strain these potatoes, mash them with that butter we got warmed up in back. Back in the pot. Set you over there to dry. That might be a little light on liquid there. we're going to cheat by... No, I don't want to do it that way. I was tempted to add some of the stock or the cooking liquid into that, but it's going to color it too much for a nice topping. Let's see how we do with just that butter in there. And these guys still aren't 100% done, even though they've been sitting there in that cooking liquid all of this time. That is the one downside with a lot of slow cookers, entropy. A lot of them, their lowest temp is 165 or 170, and it's probably a little bit higher, but they're saying it's 165 or 70. And it's because that's really the lowest that you can cook poultry. And so they're doing it so no one's trying to cook things at a temperature lower than that. Even though if you got a nice immersion circulator, which same thing as a slow cooker basically, just a little bit more control, you can set it whatever temp you want. That's certainly a little bit... it's getting cheaper these days. It may even be compatible with a decent slow cooker. But you got to consider, if you're buying an immersion circulator, you have to worry about whatever container you're going to be using to cook in. If you got a nice big stock pot, don't have to worry too much. But yep. Maybe I should take that one out, but still sort of food related. If you're working in a large hotel resort, which, by the way, if you're a supplier, you just give the hotels what they're asking for. At least the ones that I've worked for, the major hotels, if they're like a resort or a large hotel, they got people inspecting everything. And a lot of people play games with their suppliers. I just don't think you should do it with hotels. Beef stew. A lot of it's other foods my mom would make. Most of which I don't even know real recipes to emulate, but yeah, for my birthday last year, and I'll probably do it again this year, beef stew, roast potatoes, and chocolate cake. Now, see, I sort of think of some moms as doing recipes, but most grandmas is never having recipes. You're never figuring out what grandma put in there. Grandma may not even know what you put in there. Okay, so this is looking decent. Tempted, I wish I had a little stock to add in there, or a little milk, but we're going to live with that. So we're going to fill up our... I've got my glass bowl here, just off to the side. We're going to fill that up with our stew. See if I can just pour it in there. Nice. Do have the oven preheating to 350. I don't remember if I said that to you guys. Let's see how smooth these potatoes have gotten. Off, 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 off. Everything on the stove is off. Okay, I think we can use this for our... It's going to be pretty stiff, but I think we can use that. We'll take this just off the side here. Not worried about the heat on the wood. More worried about my nice cutting board. Pull that over there. And yep, I'm definitely going to need eggs for tomorrow night. Making spaghetti tomorrow night. Did not get you? Yeah, that's weird, Bencho. Oh, you guessed the word first. I'll give it to you. Need a glass bowl that I put away already. Still a little smoky on the stove tonight. That oven's still burning off whatever I leaked in there. Which, sugar. Let's face it, it's sugar. So I'm actually going to turn that fan on high for a little bit here. Add a couple egg yolks to this tonight. Separate those whites from it. I think I'm just going to try it with one egg yolk. Sort of tempted to add two, but the egg yolk's gonna give us some nice color with the potatoes when we hit them in the oven. Also temporarily loosen them up a little bit and tighten them back up as they're cooked again. Got to train myself to look down here again now. I'm still trained to look over here for chat. Now I got my old monitor down there. It's typically only really done with situations like this, where you're doing like potatoes or potatoes dauphinoise, or you're piping them out, or In this case, I'm going to set them over the top and hope they're going to stay on top. They'll help set. It adds richness. Obviously, the eggs are going to add fatness and they're going to punch a flavor. But it's also going to help them brown and brown somewhat more evenly. And so these need some salt and flavor. We haven't added any salt to these potatoes so far. So they obviously need a good pinch of salt. I'm going to add a touch of oil. Just my normal cooking oil, nothing special. And so yeah, now we'll add these over to the top. Sort of use the side of the bowl here to help seal it. We're going to have to spoon them in smaller amounts in order to get it to seal. If you have smooth, soft mash, this is a little bit easier too. But it should stay at the top there anyways because it's going to act almost like a dumpling. Okay, so we're going a little rustic tonight. Overfilled the pot. Nice, Goon Squad. So this is what we got for our ugly potato top. Tasty though. And so I'm going to put this on a tray with parchment to protect it from that oven bottom. I am sweating tonight. I don't know what, I mean, it's cold out. It can't be that hot in here right now. It's not like it's summer. It's looking a little bit like a mess right now. But it should clean up a little bit in the oven as it cooks and boils. And this edge will get nice and crusty where the stew is sticking out. It'll look much better once done. And we'll add these guys on top for our garnish after we're done. Fully hot 350 degree oven. And we're going to give that, let's say 15 minutes. We're mostly just cooking to get a nice color on the top. Nice, Goon Squad. I took I don't know how long it was. I took a course in Japanese, but it was in like elementary school, and so like the only thing I remember is Ohio, and the only reason I remember Ohio is because I know the state. Welcome, Lucrum. How you doing this evening? Yep, we're drinking a little $7 cab sab. It's definitely a sugar jam bomb. There's not a ton of wood or oak to it. Actually, not a whole lot of dark, deep, peppery spices to it all. It's mostly just dark fruit and sugar. Well, it's like most alcohols, a little bit of a either learned or experienced flavor. And actually, I just read an article the other day. I posted it on Twitter, on my Twitter account. Apparently, there's now studies showing that the differences in your saliva and the way your mouth interprets flavors as you get older makes you more inclined to like the complex flavors in wine than when you're younger. But besides wine, I like myself some whiskey and some bourbon. And we occasionally do some other mixed drinks here, but mostly the $10 wines. Oh, wait, we got a battle here, don't we, that I've completely forgotten about. Wow. Why don't we do our battle here that's been sitting here for probably 30 minutes? Victory. That was an easy win. Congrats, DJ Yukavas. Suki with the assists. Oh, let's see here. You guys want to do one more map? Or you think you should call it for the night? We should call it for the night. Let's do one more. Get you guys to use your rogues here, get all those packages. What the heck is this guy? He's only a level 1, but wow, he's got the hit points. He's ranged, so rogues anyways. Rogue map. And I grab a warrior. Skeleton Buster's probably the... Yeah, he's probably the only guy that the rogues aren't going to go for here. We'll do that one. We'll try and stretch things out and do that one on stream here tonight. Perdrix. Let me look that up. That's one that I don't know off the top of my head either. It is French for partridge. Yep. I'm happy with those taters. I was a little worried they're going to be slightly undercooked, but they're delicious. I think they're going to be great. Shrimp was great last night. I threw a little of the green can stuff on there after I turned off the stream, and that helped a little bit too, but it was delicious even without it. I'm going to do a couple of dishes here real quick. Try and catch up a little bit. And then I think I'm going to set up the garlic bread for tomorrow. We'll get that starting proofing here on stream. Which means I'm going to need some garlic and oil going. I'll work well in here, so let's do that. Green can stuff. That's my word for the Kraft Parm. The stuff with cellulose powder in it, with wood in it. I still use it though. Nice guess, Lucrum. Or Charlin. Oh, that didn't work? I've got quite a few of the BTTB emotes going. I honestly don't know how that all works. I've tried to get most of them working. Peeling our garlic here. Oh well. So this is for garlic bread tomorrow. I'm going to do a no-knead bread and mix it with some oil and garlic here. I'm going to fuse the oil with the garlic and slightly cook the garlic. I'm going to use that for infusing the whole loaf of bread. And so I'll cook off the bread here on tomorrow's stream. So this is just prep for tomorrow. Doing fresh pasta again tomorrow with roasted tomato sauce and garlic bread. So sort of like when I had spaghetti night last month or the month before. Gonna just sort of repeat that because it's National Spaghetti Month and I like spaghetti. So we're going to add a little bit of oil to that. Pull this off the burner there. Let's see, we got any olive oil left? Yeah. Do a little olive oil. I'm going to do a little sunflower oil too. Throw a heat on that. Make it so you guys can see what I'm doing. And then I've got it on a high heat to start. We don't even really want to bring this very high up. We don't want to get any browning done with the garlic. We're just trying to sweat it a little bit and get its flavor infused with all that oil. Turn the temp down there now that it started talking to us. Turn it down again. Nice, Charlene. Show us that passion. That's good right there. I'm going to cut the heat entirely. Stir it up a bit to get the temp cooling down, incorporate air so it cools it. The oil is going to stay hot for a while. May actually toast that garlic just with residual heat. We'll let that hang out on the stove while we do the rest of our stuff here. Need a strainer to sift our flour here. No pee. Flour. Need my gram scale. Sadly, I don't think with this bowl you guys going to be able to see what I'm measuring, but it'll work for me. But not on pounds and ounces. There we go, grams. Doing 400 grams of flour. Going to do a 75% hydration recipe here. Which, if you know bread, that's all you need to know. Because we're doing 400 grams of flour and 300 grams of water. 75%. Do you really need the measurements on the salt and yeast? Yep, that was a little too much. Still a little too much. There we go. 400 grams. Now I've got the side of my wine glass thoroughly coated in flour. Put our flour away. Pull up the yeast. Give it a good shake of our new yeast, our new instant yeast. We're going to add our oil and garlic in there. May have been a bit heavy on my oil there, but I think it'll be okay. Maybe use about half as much oil as I did there, guys. And lastly, well, we're going to give this a little bit of a stir because we want to mix that yeast into the flour, and then we're going to add our salt. Never want to add your yeast and salt at the same time. You want them intermixed so that they're not making like direct contact, because salt will kill your yeast, but I don't think we have to worry about that too much here with this little bit. And lastly, we need to zero this out and do some water. We need 300 grams of water. I'm living with that. Take a look at our pie down here. We're still doing okay there, even though we're beyond probably what I said we were going to bake it. It's still looking nice in there. And so this we're going to mix to combine, basically. Get all that flour wet. There we go. That's all you really need to do here. Make sure it's all nice and in one bunch here. Let's scrape down our sides real quick. We're gonna let that guy sit here until start the next stream. Gonna throw a clean towel over the top. Minus the parsley. And he's just going to hang out here. Just like that until the next stream. And that'll be our garlic bread tomorrow night. Nice, Suki. If you guys watched my bread last time, it's similar to how I did it last time. I did it last time I did spaghetti. I added that in the folding section the next day when I made it fresh. So as if I had done it tomorrow, because you do fold this once more before it goes in the oven. But, yeah. So we're trying it earlier on this time. Last time I thought it ended up with a much more flakier exterior. I don't know if I love that much oil in with the bread. But it's the best way that I can think of to infuse the whole thing with that garlic flavor. So, and I'm also probably, we'll see how it turns out tomorrow night. Might make another batch of bread tomorrow night. Because we got sandwiches on Tuesday. So we're either going to use leftovers of this garlic bread for our sandwich on Tuesday, or we're going to make another one for Tuesday. Did not answer you guys? That looks like homogenization. Did it not answer? Boo. Let's see. I'm going to give that to you, Lucrum. Chris, I have to spell your name out now. I should skip it just for having to type that. Let's see how long we are on our next battle here, how we're doing here. Another 9 minutes. Got a pretty good force out there, too. Looks like we have a good chance for this one. It's a savory pie. Welcome in, Scott. We're doing, it's, if you're familiar with shepherd's pie, it's very similar to a shepherd's pie. It's a savory stew of no real specific origin. Some people may think it's beef, may think but it's essentially what's available. Stew with a mashed potato top to it. We get that in the oven here. It's almost done here. We're also working on some bread for tomorrow night. We got some herbage going here for plating it up. I was just doing a couple of dishes here while we were waiting on it to bake in the oven. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good evening. You got the word scramble going with culinary terms of multiple languages. If you're unfamiliar, welcome into the stream. I'm Jason. I cook here on Twitch 3 nights a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. I am cooking the first 8 days straight of this year, so we're doing some extra streams this week. Do a lot of farm fresh or straight from farmers market foods. Do some butchery of my own. I've butchered essentially a whole pig on stream here back in June. They're still working on some of that from the freezer. Hoping to do some more butchery in the future. Also have weekly viewer votes for ingredient challenges. Those are going on in the Discord. You can either vote for this week, either KFC Extra Crispy Chicken is winning out right now, but is competing against ramen. And whichever wins, I'm going to have to, on Wednesday, I'm going to end the vote tomorrow. The vote, this is the less than 24 hours left until I shut it down. But it's going to be on Wednesday. I'll have to either cook with ramen or extra crispy chicken for both dinner and dessert, so both savory and sweet. So either ramen or chicken, that's a little bit of a rough one. I did promise to use both ramen and broth, so it's not just going to be noodles either. So I'm not just going to coat something and fry it for dessert. It's going to have to be somehow using broth for dessert. No, there's actually no cheese in it at all, Scott. There's it's cottage as in like rustic cottage, like living in a cottage. It's along the lines of a shepherd pie, or so it's a homestead pie, or take a look here and see who we got streaming tonight. Probably down to, what, 4 minutes. That's just passing away there. Let's go ahead and see how this is looking down here. I still want to give that more time. It's starting to bubble over a little bit, but I actually want to turn up the heat here, because I'm not getting much color on that potato yet, even though we got the egg yolk in there. So I'm going to crank this oven up to 450, because it's boiling, so it's hot. It's just not getting any color. Yeah, cottage cheese is a decent, if you can't find ricotta. I'm actually not a huge ricotta fan. I think it's more because the ricottas that I found in pre-made lasagnas have turned me off of it. But I just prefer, I typically make a mozzarella bechamel or like a cheese sauce instead of trying to put that in there. Because I just don't want that cheese curd at all. I want it to be smooth and soft and creamy. But yeah, cottage cheese is a decent substitute. They're both rather neutral cheeses. It's just cottage cheese is going to have larger but probably more distinct curds to it, and your mascarpone or your ricotta is going to be a smaller curd and a little bit almost like, I want to say it's almost like sand-like, but I've done a number of different odd lasagnas before. It's probably been 10 years, but I made a Thanksgiving lasagna at one point with all the turkey flavors, turkey and cranberry sauce and all the things you find in Thanksgiving, squash and all that, all in one lasagna. But you can have a lot of fun with lasagna. I mean, it's just a basic layered concept, and so you can do all sorts of things with it. Pretty sure I've seen that done since then, too. Oh, I don't have any heat on this. My cast irons, I wash them out, I clean them so they're nice and smooth interior-wise and don't have any debris or anything sticking in them. Then we cook them. We heat them up, we get rid of any moisture so we don't have any rust issues. And it also sanitizes it because it kills anything that's left in the pan. We got our leftover stew that I'm going to have on a day off with some rice. I'll wrap that up and throw that in the fridge. I think I knocked my packaging knife off. Counter there. Ham, Swiss, and cheese with whites. That sounds good. Yeah, I was sort of like sitting here wondering about. A lot of people love throwing a little cheddar cheese with their apple pies these days. What do you think of the idea of like a cheddar apple pie lasagna? Maybe that's a little funky for you guys' taste. Let's see how we do with our battle here. Who's gonna get all the kills? Who's gonna win? Where? Weird. Yeah, words. Weird. The dragon there is ranged, but the rogues just skipped right by it. Oh, how fun. I think my earbud died. Meant to do that. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I just lost my connection to my earphones. Give me 1 second here, guys, to figure out what's going on here with my earphones. It's connected. How weird. It just went beep boop and disconnected all my monitoring. And I'm not getting anything out of it now. Maybe we'll just go without me hearing what's going on tonight. Turn the heat off the pan back here. Let's see what we get for rewards here. Gratzhead Mama Bear and DJ U Kavas. Lucrum and me with the kills and assists. Congrats, everyone. Ooh, goodies for me. I'll take those. And we're going to call it there. We're going to pull this pie out here and call it a night here pretty quick. So we'll continue with the Stream Raiders here tomorrow night, since we're streaming every night this week. Let's see what we got going on here in this oven right now. Okay, we're pulling this. I'm tired of waiting for this to toast up a bit more. We got a little bit of nice color on the side here. A little bit here and there where it was really poking out and being a little bit different. We also got some spillage there. Hit the top here with the ton of parsley. Bit of green onion. Throw that down on the table. And then let's see here. Let's grab ourselves a bowl. Let's taste this deliciousness. This tasty concoction. Take a photo here real quick. Grab a knife to have that in the photo. Oh, I will be breaking into that bad boy here shortly. I just want to get a photo of it before we do so. What did I do with my trivet? You get up and walk away? It's bright blue. It's right in front of me. I can't see it for some reason because it's right in front of me. One more photo before we break into this deliciousness. Gotta have all the photos for the Instagrams and the history. Okay, gonna use our flour spoon, because why not? Let's see what we got here. There we go. Hit that up with a bit more green stuff. A bit more parsley, a bit more green onion. There we have dinner. Give you guys a close-up on the deliciousness on the main screen. Hey, Eaterin! Oh, wow! Welcome in, everyone! Thank you for the raid, The Girl Who Bakes! Welcome in, everyone! I apologize. We're just finishing up here. We've been working on my day 3 of first 8 days of the year I'm streaming. Welcome in, everyone. Hope you all had a great night. What were we cooking tonight earlier, the girl who bakes? I was just making myself some cottage pie here. We've got some leftover beans that I made with a hawk from first, and I added a whole bunch of extra veggies in there. You know, your typical mirepoix candidates, some green pepper. We got some parsley and some green onion here hanging on the side, and put that all together. And then we add some mashed potatoes over the top. We're just wrapping that up here. We got a little bit of fresh bread here ready to go for tomorrow night. I'm going to be making garlic bread tomorrow night for National Spaghetti Day tomorrow. Normally I stream 3 nights a week. We have Fridays and Sundays where I just normally stream whatever I feel like sort of like doing, what's interesting, what's new, do a lot of the national holidays. Cinnamon rolls and savory bread pudding. Nice. And a croque monsieur. Nice. That sounds like a busy night there. Savory bread pudding sounds like a good one. I haven't done savory bread pudding, and I've done all sorts of sweet bread puddings, but savory? I don't think I've done that, actually, especially on stream. But Fridays and Sundays, I do, what it used to be. I started off streaming. I live here in Sonoma County. I used to go to farmers markets on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And before this year, that was, what was fresh, what was interesting. I'd do that night on stream. Now we have Fridays and Sundays where I'm doing interesting things and ideas that I can come up and ideas from chat. And on Wednesdays, I do ingredient challenges. I have a vote going on in Discord right now between, currently right now, KFC Extra Crispy Chicken is winning this week's vote, and it is competing against ramen, which I'm going to do both ramen noodles and broth if that wins. And so Wednesday, in the last 24 hours of the vote here, Wednesday I'm either going to have to cook dinner and dessert with one of those two ingredients. So dessert with either KFC chicken, Extra Crispy Chicken, or ramen noodles and broth. So that should be an interesting challenge here on Wednesday. So that's what's coming up. Last week I did crickets on stream for my ingredient challenge. That was fun. Don't think I'm really interested in crickets in the future, but I may give it a shot if someone's got a special recipe. And I've done all sorts of other ones like popcorn, Pocky, after 8 dinner mints. So that's all in the Discord. Would love you guys to join in and give your own suggestions. There's a channel there for adding your own suggestions. There's a channel there for voting. I was just about to wrap things up here. I thank you so much for that raid, the girl who bakes. But I'm hungry, and I got food sitting in front of me. So I appreciate the raid. But let's see who we can also pass this back off on to continue the fun here. Let's give another raid out here. Let's continue on with the. I think we should continue on with food and bacon here. We'll get that started here. There we go. And give a raid here to John Leung, who we've raided a couple times before. Great streamer, food and drink streamer. I appreciate you guys giving him some love. I hope you guys have a great evening. I am, like I said, going to be streaming 8 days straight here. This is day number 3 of 8. Otherwise, I do 3 nights a week. We'll see. I'm hoping to stream more this year, so let's see if we can't bump that up to 4 or 5 nights a week. But we'll see what I can handle. And look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night for spaghetti and garlic bread. Thank you and have a great night.